Hello friends and followers of the Visual Collective, I'm Taylor, back with another Sunday FUNDAY DIY. Recently I was laying in bed just bored out of my mind, not sure what to do with myself, and I decided to make a pinhole camera. I haven't made one in quite a while, but given the lack of a darkroom in my life currently, I needed to make it digital. So I thought about it and figured out how to make one for free with stuff I already had in my recycle bin laying around my house. You need black duct tape, which we should all have, a pair of scissors, a marker, some kind of aluminum can, mine's a beer can. You need the body cap for your camera. The last thing is just take that safety pin out of your ear, and that's it. This mod works better on some cameras than others. My Nikon, it works really quick and easy on. You just pop the lens off, you're gonna put the attachment on, and my camera will fire. Certain cameras, some Canons, and I'm sure some Nikons as well, don't like firing if there's not a lens attached, so you have to look into your owner's manual and just see if it'll work with your camera. I'll show you later a way to work around this if you have problems with that, but for now I'll just go ahead and try the first method that works with my D300. Okay, so the first thing you might want to do is lay out a piece of cardboard, something to cut on here. At my house we cut right on the table, not here, we don't do that. Your mom's house you don't do that, probably most places. So anyway, lay out something to cut on, and you take your can and you want to get it so that it lays totally flat. So you cut the top and the bottom off, and then up the side and get it to just lay out flat so you have a nice piece of metal to work with. So you know, be really careful because you're working not only with sharp instruments, but once you start cutting this stuff, it's like a razor. I mean, if you want to cut yourself really bad, this is an excellent way to do it. So extreme care should be taken when doing this. Let's get a little beer in there, about like that, but just so that it will lay flat if you need it to. You want to dry it off really good, so you don't want any moisture in our camera. So once you have your nice piece of aluminum nice and flat, you want to take the body cap for your camera. We all remember what this is for, right? If you take your lens off, this thing covers the hole. Probably just have this in a drawer somewhere and never use it, but now we have a use for it. Pop it off. We're going to use that to measure how big this opening is and make our piece of metal cover that opening so that our camera's light tight. Lay out your metal with your body cap widest side down on the metal, and with a marker go ahead and trace it so that you wind up with something like that on your piece of metal. And then with extreme care and precision, cut that circle out. So I'm gonna cut this off so I have a more manageable size to work with, and go ahead and cut that out. Alright, you get a nice little circle here that will, if you look, fit nicely right over the hole of the camera, just like that. Excellent. Then what you want to do is lay it out nice and flat, take that safety pin out of your ear again, or any kind of pen or needle really, and you're going to want to poke a hole right in the middle, as dead center as you can possibly get it. Like kind of eyeball, you know, we're all artists, just kind of figure it out, sort of like, looks about right. Poke it through. And you don't want to make a very big hole. You don't have to poke it all the way through, just a real tiny one. I guess you could experiment with different sized safety pins, like thicker, wider holes, but just a real small one's usually enough, just a little bit in there. So you get just a nice tiny, you can just barely see a little nick on it right here. So that's good like that kind. Okay, so after you've punched the hole out there, you're gonna have a little barb on the inside there, a little rough spot. Ideally, you should take some really fine grade sandpaper and just kind of sand that little bit off real carefully. I don't have any fine grade sandpaper because I didn't have any laying around, and that stuff costs money, which I don't have. So I'm gonna use my little bit of razor blade here and kind of just sort of very, very carefully try and knock that barb off a little bit. I have to go back in with the safety pin and kind of clean that hole up a little bit. That's okay. Really, honestly, sandpaper is the best option here. I just seriously don't have any. So, you know, whatever you can do, just knock it down a little bit. That little barb's gonna affect the way the light enters your camera, just slightly. But anyway, so now that that's kind of cleaned up a little bit, you're ready to attach your new lens, as it were, to your camera body. Take some of your black duct tape. I'll take a whole strip and I'll tear it in half, usually. And then into smaller pieces again. Carefully line this up as best you can. And start by taping it on. nice and centered. A couple pieces, one piece like that, maybe a piece like this, a couple more. And so you can't be afraid of a little duct tape on your camera. Make sure it's on manual focus. If you have a little switch, I'm about to tape over the switch, make sure it's on manual, and it's all taped down. So it's at least right now secure. Now I'm gonna go through and really make sure it's on there tight, light tight, and really safe. So a lot more duct tape. I'll tape almost right up to the edge of the hole, real close. Just really make sure that thing's light tight, it's on there really secure, and basically, that's it. That's your new lens right there. Okay, so it's a pretty fun mod. I mean, there's really no way to focus. I don't really think you focus at infinity. You don't really focus at, 2 feet or anything. It's just kind of an experimental thing. You're gonna get weird lens flares out of this from lights. You're gonna get odd motion blur that even if your camera's not moving, I don't know how that happens, but it's totally funky and weird, very experimental. And the best thing to do is just to try a shutter speed, try an ISO, shoot it, see what happens in the back of the camera, and adjust appropriately. A tripod is recommended, but certainly not required. It's just a funky little thing to do if you're bored one afternoon. It takes 30 minutes and you can get some kind of cool images. A lot of fun. Pinhole camera.
So what's up, guys? Andrew from the Visual Collective here to talk with you briefly about what to do if your camera will not fire without a lens on it. So essentially there's a couple of fixes for this. Some come with your camera, some you can pay for, and I guess if you use the one that comes with your camera, you'll have to pay for it in the long run anyway. But for starters, you can take the body cap for your camera, and much like Taylor showed you earlier, where you use this as a rough template, you would essentially just have to take like a Dremel or some sort of like a hot knife or something, a tool, and basically you would cut out the inside circumference of this. So it's basically the ring, and you want to make absolutely sure you leave the part that fastens to your camera, because if you cut this off, you have just ruined your body cap and it is absolutely worthless for the purpose of which you are modifying it. So you want to make sure that you probably want to cut it from the inside and just cut around the inside diameter of the ring that fastens to the camera through to the outside, and then you'll have a giant black plastic donut with which you will then fasten the zone plate or the pinhole you just made to the front of. There's that method. The other method is if you were to purchase some sort of cheap plastic lens. This is actually an Olga lens that's been modified for Canon EOS. If you purchase one of these, you can actually just crack the lens off. It's just plastic, it's glued together, and I've actually already modified mine to shoot it in reverse. But you just crack that off, and you'll have the fastener, and you'll have some threads and things like that, and then you can fasten your zone plate to the front of that. So essentially with a camera that will not fire without a lens on, you just need to tell the camera body that something is attached to the front of the body. As long as there's something there, you can tell the camera that there is a lens in fact attached to your camera, and then it will allow the shutter to fire. But that's how you can work around the issue we talked about earlier. Alright guys, so this has been another episode of Sunday Funday DIY from the Visual Collective. I am Andrew.
And I'm Taylor.
And we really want to encourage you guys to get down on the comment section below, like right below us, down here, and let us know if there's any kind of gear that you guys want, but
maybe you just can't afford it. Like, everything that we've shown so far, everything we're doing is commercially available somewhere for money, lots of money. I don't have money. This guy, not so much money. Probably you don't have much money. I mean, I'm not assuming, but if there's something you want to make, something you'd like to just see us do, put it in the comments. Let us know. We'd love feedback and some good ideas for future projects, and make it happen.
Right on, guys. Well, we will see you here in dos, I don't know the Spanish word for weeks, for our next episode.
Those weeks.